right, guys. So, I got a lot of videos backlogged. Now everybody's waiting for a video. I'm getting messages every day. Please put out a video. Blah 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 blah. I appreciate all of that. So here's the story. So I started this a couple of months ago. As most of you know, a lot of you guys were here from the very beginning. I don't have a computer of my own. I have a good friend at my client, the Jungle Queen, that is nice enough to let me use hers whenever possible, so I crank out as many videos as possible. For the last couple of weeks, over at the park, we have had all kinds of stuff going on. I've been super busy, she's been super busy, and she has a lot of computer work. I haven't been able to get the computer as much as I would like. So I'm gonna put out a video for you today. It's gonna be 100% unedited. I have a program on my phone to edit this stuff out. It's impossible for me to figure it out. The most I could do is put 2 clips together. I can't shorten anything, I can't cut anything, I can't do any of that. So you're gonna get the video, no intro, no nothing. It's just, we're gonna have a little bit of fun with the pig. I figured I'd try and drop you guys something for you guys to watch until we can get that and start doing these other videos that I got backlogged. So today, we're going to show you guys a little tiny piece of how to train an animal. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can go about training an animal. I use operant conditioning, if you will, or positive reinforcement, call it what you will. There's a bunch of other ways that you can do it as well. Like for my dogs, I don't tend to use food for motivation. I'll usually do like correction training. I'll have them on a pinch collar, choke collar, however it is. You have to be really careful with any of those tools. You can hurt your animal a great deal if you don't know what you're doing. You're not using that to put force against them. It's just a noise, a click, whatever it is, to let them know that they're on the wrong path and to kind of tighten it up, pay attention to me. And then at the end of the whole thing, I'll give them usually the toy that they like or whatever. Your best option for training any animal is to find what it likes. The pig is really easy. She's a fat bastard. She'll eat pretty much anything, and she's highly food motivated. So it makes it a little bit easier to train something like a pig for 2 reasons. The intelligence level is way up there. If you read around, they can learn, they pretty much have the same intelligence level as a 3-year-old. So that's a lot when you consider the mind of an animal versus the mind of a human being. It's very calculated, very processed, and she's a fat bastard, so she's very highly motivated to do whatever needs to be done. I'll show you guys later on in another video what I'm talking about with the dogs, because with the dogs it's a little bit different. They're like an everyday part of my life type of deal. So if I'm out walking on the street and stuff, I don't want to be handing a piece of food every 10 seconds to try and get them to do what's needed for them to be done. And on top of that, with the correction training, I'll show you the dangers of doing it the wrong way, because you never want to make any situation not enjoyable for the animal. The whole trick, hey bud, the whole trick to any training, and this goes for any animal, anywhere, the whole trick in training is to make it an experience that's fun for all parties involved. So you never want to make it a miserable experience. What we're trying to do is essentially enrich the life of the animal and at the same time capture some behaviors that we want, whether it's for reasons that you need it, like a service animal or something like that, or just to have fun between you and your animal, and it also tightens the bond that you have. Anytime I'm gonna train any animal, I always start from the ground up. I'll get the animal as a baby, and then when I raise it, I spend an awful lot of time with it. And the biggest thing for me, and anybody can argue this all they want, the biggest thing for me is the relationship you have with your animal. If you have a great relationship with your animal, chances are when you want to get to your training and you want them to do certain things, they're going to behave in a way that's going to be satisfactory to what you're trying to do, because they already care a lot about you. So the biggest thing is establishing a relationship and a bond with the animals that you're working with. So there's another, there's another, not that kind of bond, bud, not that kind of bond. There's another, there's older techniques that people still use to this day. And if you use the technique, you're a douchebag. plain and simple, and that's called breaking the animal. So a lot of times what people will do, and you see this a lot of times back in the old circus days and shit like that, people will get these large dangerous animals, a tiger, a bear, whatever it is, elephants, things like that, and from a young animal, they'll basically burn it into their minds that, hey, I'm the bigger person here, I'm the bigger animal, I'm more dangerous, I'm dominant, and they try and dominate the animal through many things. They beat the shit out of the animal, they beat the shit out of the animal, they'll basically torture it into submission, and that's what's happening. And you still see it to this day, and when I see it, I'm usually very vocal about it. I don't like it. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever for any sort of negative reinforcement when you're training your animals. You can correct the animal, which I'll show you in a later episode with the dogs, but there is no reason whatsoever to beat the shit out of an animal to try and get what you want. Because you're only doing two things. Number one, you break the spirit of the animal. You have no trust between the animal. The only thing that you have is a relationship that that animal is terrified of you and it's going to do what you want so it doesn't get its ass kicked. Period, end of story. There is no fucking glory in that. Can't edit that out, but you're going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry for the young kids out there, but it's a real thing. There's no reason for it. And I'm going to show you right now with positive reinforcement and very little correction, if any, probably not with this one, you can still get what you want out of your pets, out of your animals. And you don't have to be a raging douchebag and beat the crap out of your animal. There is no reason on this earth to ever lay a hand on any of your animals whatsoever. I have a lot of dangerous animals that I work with. One thing you'll never see me do is hit, punch, kick, or any of that to any of my animals. If need be, and the situation, let's just say like Pickles back there tries to beat up Hurley because they're going through their, female to female battle thing they got going on. The most that I'll do is pick the animal up, full body displacement. I don't have to hurt the animal, and then the animal knows, hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong, whatever it is. No reason to beat the animal. And I'm gonna All right, so I'm going to try and pick up where we left off here because I can't really edit. So I apologize if things are a little jumbled around, but back to what I was saying. You can get what you want out of your animal without being aggressive in any way, shape, or form. The more of a relationship you have with your animal, the better off all of it will be. And again, biggest key thing is keeping it positive for everybody. You want everybody involved to be having a good time. You want to be having a good time, you want the animal to have a good time. If you can't get the animal to do what you're looking for it to do, you never want to end on a bad note. So I'll usually, I know she sits really well. If I can't get her to do what I need her to do, and we go over it 3 or 4 times, I don't want to frustrate the animal, I don't want to get frustrated myself. So I usually have her sit, we'll end on a good note, and we'll come back to that later on. Another thing is predictability. You want the animal to never be surprised by what it is that you're doing. So for the first 6 months of training, from when we start to the 6-month mark, it'll be consistent. I do the same training every single day at the same time, twice a day, and I'll only do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want to stretch it out because the animal's going to get frustrated. She's smart, but at the same time, over and over and over, asking them to do trick. It gets old for them, so you never want to have your training run into now you're trying to force the animal to do some stuff that maybe it doesn't want to do. Another key thing, you can't ask the animal to do what it can't do. Period, end of story. The way that I'll kind of make an analogy for this is if you have a basketball team and you know that this guy can jump 5 feet off the ground, and this guy maybe can't jump but more than a couple inches, obviously you're not going to ask this guy to jump 5 feet off the ground over and over and over again. You can't do it. You can't do it. So just like the pig can't jump. Obviously, for plain reasons, the pig's not going to be able to jump. I can't make it jump. I can only have the pig do what it's already capable of doing. So we start off with small stuff. Again, predictability. Every single day, we work on the same things. Then I'll never push it. So we learn maybe one thing a week, and then we'll go from there to more complicated stuff later on. After the 6-month mark, I can kind of push it past that 10 minutes Then we can go maybe 15, 20 minutes, do a whole routine before I give it a treat, things like that. But we'll get onto that. We'll get into that later on. This is a very simple, like 4 or 5 things that we're going to do. All right, Pig, come. Come. Pig, come. Good. After she completes whatever she's going to do, I give her a treat. Later on, like I said, we'll spread that out, so we won't give her a treat per trick. But at the same time, no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Come. At the same time, we're going to give that treat, move on, and then I'll just tell her good. Real quick, good. That's it. I don't say good pig, good bacon. You never want to include their name in what it is that you're doing. It's just the command that you're giving, and then good or a clicker or however you want to do it. That's it. That's it. Good. Another thing people tend to do is they'll overrun what they're trying to say. So if I'm trying to teach her to sit, they'll go sit, 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 sit 100 times until the animal tries to do it, but then you're kind of diluting what you're trying to get across. So you say it, you wait a little bit, a couple of seconds. If they don't do it, you can say it again, a couple of seconds. If they don't do it, a couple of seconds, say it again. And if they don't do it at that point, get them to do something that they can do right off the rip, and then, like I said, end on a good note. All right, pig, left. Good, good. Pig, right, right, good, good. Come. Sit. Good. Okay, so that's all she's learned at this point. Now, we've only been doing this for a week, but again, we do it every single day. She learns quickly. Today and yesterday, we've done all these tricks. Tomorrow, I'll probably add something new. Later on, we'll get into more complicated things. We'll have her solve puzzles and all that stuff so you guys can see how smart the animals can actually be. Now, what I'm going to do is she's very comfortable with the stuff that she's doing. So I'm going to spread out the treats to let her know that she doesn't always have to have a treat to complete the task at hand. Come. Sit. Good. Come. Left. Good. Come. Right. Good. Good. Well, you see, every time she completes a task, you give her the good. So she doesn't always need a treat. It's a positive reinforcement. Good pig. Good. Not pig. Don't say her name. But good. That way, later on, when you're doing a routine, if you want to do a routine, you can do it without them always expecting to get a treat. Your love and compassion is always good enough for the animals. The treat is an added bonus. So realistically, what you want is for you personally to be the positive reinforcement for the animal. That way, if you're ever in a position that you need to do something, i.e. the vet. The vet is a big thing. If you can have the animal do what you need to do when you're at the vet or in a situation like that, it's very good, and you don't always have treats on hand. So they'll always want to do this stuff because they love you, not necessarily because they need the treat. So we're going to run this one more time, and we're going to be done with it for the day. Sit. Good. Come pick. Good. Left. Come. Left. Good. Right. Good. Sit. Sit. Good. Now, I'm patient with her. I'll wait if she's not doing something. Also, what's really good is if you saw when she first came over here and I gave her her first command, left. Just like that. If she doesn't do it right away, I'll take a step back, readjust, and now you're taking her out of that situation. Hold on, mama. You're taking her out of that situation. You take that step back, readjust, ask again. Left. Good. Right. Come. Nope, that's not. Right. Good. Good. Now we're going to finish it up with the whole thing, and I'm going to give her the rest of the treats in my hand. Done? Left. Come. Left. Good. Right. Good.
finish it off with a bunch of love. That's a good girl. You're such a good girl. That is such a good girl. You're a good pig. You're a good pig. You're a good pig. You're a good pig. All right, so short and sweet. Never want to drag it out. Again, you want the animal to always end on a good note. So the best thing for him is usually I'll have her food dish ready. She's already eaten today. We'll do the routine and then I'll finish it off by giving her food, because then it's a big, huge treat at the end of it, and she's always knows she's working towards a big goal. But like I said, once I dial those treats back a bit and start spreading things out, she also understands that it's okay to do these things without expecting something in return every single time. We're just working off a relationship that we have. So again, to sum this whole thing up, you want predictability, be consistent. If you're not gonna be consistent and you don't do it every single day, then it's worthless to even start. So if you don't consistently every single day for at least the first couple of months, don't even start, because it's only gonna frustrate you and it's only gonna frustrate the animal. Secondly, make sure you spread your treats out whenever possible. At first, you're always giving a treat to get those commands. And for anybody that doesn't know, there's ways to get the animals to do things that you would want. So basically, real easy for me, I'm here to follow the thing around until she understands, while saying the term that we're gonna use to kind of quote or mark that behavior. That way she starts to register, this means this means that, so on and so forth, and then you're reinforcing that with the treat, and they're smart enough to realize what's going on. We're done, Mama, you can stop spinning around like a kid. All right, so like I said, predictability, consistency, and a lot of luck, man. That's the biggest thing. A relationship with your animal is number one, by far, the most important foundation for anything that you're ever gonna do. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed at least this short little video. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. We'll get a bunch of other videos out. We got baby snakes that were born. We got a bunch of new vipers. We got all kinds of stuff coming out. So just stay tuned. Bear with me. We'll get it as soon as we can. Boom.